freedom of movement of goods, which was talked about yesterday, the freedom of movement of persons, freedom of movement of labor, freedom of movement of services, freedom of movement of capital, and then there are two rights, the right of establishment and right of residence. We shall briefly look at them and what they actually mean. And all their provisions are also captured for your private reading. So we have what we call regulations or annexes to this protocol. They are branches of the protocol that explain each and every freedom in details, and they also give procedures on how to implement them. We have from Annex 1 to 6. So each freedom I have mentioned has a particular annex for further details. There are other areas of cooperation which range from protection of cross-border investments. When investment is being made in a partner state, it is protected as if it is a national investment. So cross-border investments are provided for. We have aspects to do with economic and monetary policy, which my colleague will talk about. Financial sector, taxes will be talked about. Prohibition of subsidies, the issues of public procurement where supplies and goods are recognized as they move across partner states. We have provisions on consumer protection, so that whichever we consume it protects our health and makes consumers safe. The issues to do with transport facilitation and social security, social policies to be harmonized. So all of those are details that are in other provisions. Then we have other general provisions, the protocol that start from institutional framework, amendment procedures, addressing imbalances, monitoring and evaluation, to mention but a few. So now we go to implementation. I've just summarized the content of the protocol itself, which is a legal instrument that is an integral part of the treaty. Implementation of the common market. The Council of Ministers issue directives that deal with the implementation of the common market from time to time, and every sitting of the Sectoral Council of ES Affairs, an item on the common market is discussed. We have an implementation monitoring group. We call it East African Regional Monitoring Group that monitors how the common market is being implemented in partner states. And therefore, we shall expect that DRC will also establish a national implementation committee that will be feeding the regional monitoring group. And when we are establishing this committee, it will be chaired by the ministry responsible for ES Affairs, which yesterday we talked about, that DRC will designate a ministry. The ministry is responsible for labor, are part of these national committees. Ministry in charge of Immigration and Home Affairs will be a member of the committee. Ministry of Justice or Attorney General's chambers will also be a member. Ministry of Finance, the National Bureau of Statistics of DRC will also be a member of that National Implementation Committee. We always visit partner states every after 6 months to collect data on how the common market is performing. So this is going to be a very critical institutional framework at national level here in DRC. So a number of achievements have been attained, which DRC is going to join and also participate in the enjoyment of some of those benefits. In terms of goods, this one we can skip because it was talked about yesterday when we dealt with the customs. Now we go to movement of persons. Movement of persons are integral areas, integral parts of the common market protocol, because that's when we see the common market being enjoyed by the citizens of the EAC. The first stage is the common market removed the need to charge visa. So all partner states do not charge visa to people who are moving from within the partner states. And that one is being implemented. As such, we shall also expect DRC to remove the requirement for people to pay visa when they are coming from other EAC partner states. Two, the movement of people in the East African community is done freely without discrimination based on nationality. So therefore we have free entry of persons. They are also free to stay. If they come to the RDC, they are free to stay. And if they want to exit, they are also free to exit. If these people have moved, they are issued a pass to stay. And this stay is given by the common market. It is 6 months stay. But if they finish 6 months, they may wish to extend through immigration authorities and probably stay longer than 6 months. Then students are also part of this category that moves. Students are allowed to come for training or move for training in EAC partner states without paying a fee. We call it visa gratis. Students are issued visa gratis. So by way of explaining the nature of people who are moving, the common market protocol gives us a scope. It defines these people who are going to move. Who are they and where are they? First of all, there is a category called the visitors. There are those ones coming to visit their relatives, their friends. Those ones are also regarded as persons. We have another group that might be wanting to move for medical treatment in hospitals within the partner states. Others might be moving in a transit. You are moving to maybe to Kenya and you have passed through Uganda, so there are also people who are moving in a transit. Then also we have talked about students and they are going for training in universities and other institutions of learning in the partner states, and the others who might be moving other than those ones going to work or as self-employed persons. But for the workers we shall find them ahead in another slide. So in brief, those are persons expected to move in the context of the common market. So that is a demonstration of students who have been moving in the region from 2013 to 2018. We have some figures to show you that what I have talked about has been happening, and therefore students are moving in our community. So we have some figures starting from 2013 to 2018. We also have some illustration which you can also see in terms of people who moved, persons who moved from one partner state to another within our community. And that is the group that we talked about, which will be established by DRC, that will also be helping us to gather this data. So as more people are moving, another critical aspect to look at are travel documents. Travel documents to enable people move so that we know who is moving by way of identification. The East African community, the summit of the EAC heads of state directed that partner states should issue East African electronic passports. Partner states have already issued, you can see, we have shown you some pictures where we have diplomatic, official and ordinary passports that have the logo of EAC. They are East African and they have a chip inside. So all partner states must issue this passport. Probably we shall find out if DRC is also issuing electronic passports, and they need to also align them to the EAC specifications. So other aspects of travel documents, there are those ones who may not have passports, but they may use a national identity card, which the council has also approved to be electronic machine readable travel document. In terms of opening borders for people to move, within the common market framework, there is a provision that borders must be open for 24 hours. Okay. Should be open for 24 hours and managed, especially where we have very busy borders. I'm trying to enlarge the slides. So as the enlargement is happening, we are supposed to ensure that people move in the community, first of all, by having travel documents that have been recognized in the ESC. Secondly, opening the borders 24 hours, non-stop. And that can be done on a reciprocal arrangement with the neighboring partner state. Also important to note is we should have integrated borders. Borders that that are integrated. Our sister talked about integrated customs management, but also in immigration we are talking about integrated, interconnected border systems so that information can be shared easily and allow people to move without any hindrance. There are so many things happening. We are also doing what we call harmonization of immigration laws, policies, and systems. Systems of immigration must be harmonized so that our people are not delayed when they go to border points as they cross. So those are some of the few things that we need to implement with the immigration authorities of DRC. Also under free movement of persons, we have a number of initiatives. Those are the few I can capture. But when it comes to employment, workers are free to move in the partner states, and they are also free to apply and be issued work permits. They apply within 30 days, and they should be issued work permits within 15 days. And when workers are moving in the community, they are also entitled to move with their spouses, children, and dependents. We are also doing a lot of work in the classification of procedures for issuance of work permits, and very soon we shall be involving DRC in the meetings of chiefs of immigration and directors of labor. We are developing a mechanism also of ensuring that the workers in the community, as they move, they should also be able to carry their saved benefits in the national insurance schemes and saving schemes, and that's what we are calling portability of social security benefits. On portability of social security benefits, we are looking at ensuring that there is a coordination, and we have started an activity where we are consulting partner states, and therefore we shall be in DRC here in Kinshasa in the month of October to consult you, because we know that you have a good practice with the coordination of social security benefits and a CPGL arrangement. So we shall learn a lot from you in this regard. Under the right of residence, we go to movement of services. Under movement of services, we are making sure that we implement common market provisions. The common market calls for mutual recognition of academic and professional qualifications, because the workers must move and must move with their qualifications. So we have signed agreements for engineers, architects, accountants, and veterinarians. We are negotiating one for pharmacists and also land surveyors plus advocates. Agreements have been finalized and they are about to be signed. So those are some of the aspects we shall consult you on. We shall involve you when we are negotiating additional agreements and also doing regulations for mutual recognition of academic and professional qualifications. I am trying to marathon through in view of time. So when you go to opportunities available, we are saying the common market has great benefits. It should be maximally utilized because you have the population and you have all the necessary ingredients for us to take off. We think we should involve all actors, including the political leaders, legislators, the media, civil society, the private sector, in ensuring that the common market is made known by every stakeholder in the community. We need to look at prioritization of the implementation of the common market to ensure that the national plans, programs, and the budgets all factor in aspects of the common market. The common market has the potential to expand the opportunities for the private sector and complement what the public sector is providing, ultimately to provide the living standards of our people. The common market has been in place for the last 11 years, and therefore we are saying we should take the benefits and consolidate the achievements so far realized so that we can move it forward. Allow me, Honorable Chairperson, to quickly go through some of the institutions that are supporting the implementation of the common market. Yesterday we talked about the Inter-University Council of East Africa, which is an institution of the community that deals with university education or higher education. This institution is based in the Republic of Uganda, in the city of Kampala. Under Inter-University Council, we are also looking at issues of regional quality of education, the East African Qualification Framework, technical vocational education and training, including staff and students mobility programs. So all those are programs being done by Inter-University Council. There are very many of them, but those are the few ones we can just share. And we're also looking at implementing a harmonized fees structure for our university students. All those activities being done by the University Council. And also important to note is that we have declared the East African Community as a common higher education area. So all those are aspects that will lead us to common higher education area. This was a declaration made by the heads of state, and we have also tried to, it may not be clear, but it's also captured in the presentation which we shall share. The other institution is the East African Kiswahili Commission. It was also talked about. It is based in Zanzibar, in the United Republic of Tanzania. And we have also recognized that integration will be made possible if we can communicate while doing business, while visiting colleagues, while doing meetings. So communication, language promotion is very fundamental. So this is the commission that is responsible for promoting and implementing Kiswahili language in our community. Then we have CASOA, Civil Aviation Safety, Security and Oversight Agency that is dealing with air transport, because our people must move, and therefore this is an agency established by the East African Community to ensure that air transport services are safe, efficient, and profitable. It also charged with the harmonization of air transport policies, laws, and frameworks in the region. This institution, CASOA, is based in the Republic of Uganda, in Entebbe City. We have East African Competition Authority, which is very fundamental in doing business and implementing trade-related aspects of our community. It deals with aspects of merger, acquisitions, and control of subsidies. It is based in Arusha, Tanzania. We have East African Science and Technology Commission, ESTECO. It is one of the institutions that also supports the common market, and it is supposed to ensure coordination in management and application of science and technology to the ESC partner states, all of which geared towards socio-economic development of our community. We all know that science and technology is very fundamental if development is to be realized, both at national and regional levels. We have Lake Victoria Basin Commission, which was also talked about. It is based in Kisumu, in the Republic of Kenya. This one is a very fundamental institution in terms of managing of Lake Victoria for sustainable development of our community and ensuring that management of the lake is effective, including transport and safety aspects. It also looks at issues of environment management that can support the Lake Victoria being one of the largest freshwater bodies, I think the second largest in the world. We have East African Health Research Commission. This one is based in Bujumbura, in the Republic of Burundi. It is responsible for ensuring that we do health research for purposes of promoting health of our people in the community. We have Lake Victoria Fisheries Commission, which is based in Jinja in the Republic of Uganda. It's also responsible for ensuring fish species, aquaculture, and other life that is found in Lake Victoria. It concentrates on fisheries species, while the other one has a broader view of sustainable development and management of Lake Victoria. Honorable Chairperson, I wish to end this session of this presentation on the common market and related institutions that support the ESC common market, and therefore allow me to quickly go through another section in maybe 5 minutes, which I'll just be browsing through so that you can be able to appreciate other aspects that support the East African common market. Honorable Chairperson, distinguished members, the common market cannot stand alone without other supporting infrastructure. And therefore we have social, productive, and infrastructure sectors that are very critical for the functioning of the common market and the ESC integration generally. I will go quickly to social sectors and pick a few slides. So under social sectors, we have, number one, we have health. Health is very critical to our people because our people, as they integrate, they must be healthy. For example, we have designated a number of centers of excellence under health. When it comes to cardiovascular sciences, we have designated Muhimbili University Hospital, Muhimbili University of Health and Allied Sciences in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. So those aspects of cardiovascular diseases, heart problems, and others, that's our center of excellence. When it comes to oncology, cancer, diseases related, we have Murago Hospital in Kampala, Uganda. When it comes to nephrology, urology aspects, we have Kenyatta National Hospital in Nairobi. Then vaccines, immunization, supply chain in Kigali, and also biomedical engineering in Kigali, Republic of Rwanda. So those are some of the aspects you have under health, just for you to note and appreciate how we are moving, and also to recognize that you also need to prepare to join such institutional establishments. We have so many health programs, but one of them is Great Lakes Malaria Initiative, which we launched in 2021. Before even DRC became a full member, we were already working with the DRC in terms of malaria control. When it comes to diseases don't have to recognize boundaries, and therefore we are already cooperating with DRC as early as 2020 when it comes to malaria control. We normally have joint inspections of universities teaching medical sciences, and we shall also be visiting universities in DRC that teach medical sciences because we already developed standards. Then we also have medical laboratory for communicable diseases, which we have ensured that we detect highly infectious diseases that may move across borders. Health, there are quite many aspects, but the heads of state have also met in a retreat in 2018. So the heads of state determined or agreed that we should invest in 9 areas under health. And all partner states are moving towards that we implement these 9 areas under health. And certainly the DRC will also participate in these areas. But in summary, they are saying, let us stop, let us build our own health systems so that we don't continue spending money when our people go beyond the region for treatment in India, Germany, and other places. We should develop our own capacity and treat our people in the region so that we save foreign exchange in that regard. We should develop human resources for health, train enough people, and also ensure that we provide medicines that are affordable, efficacious, and relevant to our people. So that's a summary I can talk about, including transferability of health entitlements. Those who have health insurance for public health should be able to be treated if they go across their national borders. So that's a summary of the 9 aspects that we should prioritize as directed by the summit. Education and training, ladies and gentlemen, is very important, and it also supports the common market. And we are harmonizing our training curricula. We have developed a number of instruments which have been domesticated by partner states for pre-primary, primary, TVET, teacher education, and also special needs education. Under education, we have essay writing competition, and you have written to DRC to also arrange your students so that they can participate in essay writing, because every year the Secretary General presents the winners of essay writing competition to the summit for recognition. So this is an area where you may also establish a national committee that will be doing adjudication and marking those essays. Mutual recognition of academic qualifications, I already talked about it. Culture and sports. Yesterday we talked about Jama Fest, which is happening in Bujumbura. It is going to end on the 12th. But what is also important is that we need to popularize the EAC anthem. We sang it when we opened, and this is an area that you need to ensure that during your official sessions, your official activities, you also have it popularized in schools and other institutions of government. We talked about the introduction of English, of French and Kiswahili. This one has been a directive of the summit, and French and Kiswahili are official languages of the community. We have talked about the festivals. We have gender and the community development. Issues of gender are very fundamental to our community, where we are saying we need to involve women in socio-economic development of the community, to involve the youth, the initiatives for children, initiatives for people with disabilities, and also aspects to do with the social protection for vulnerable groups of our population. All of those are covered in the EAC integration. For labor and migration, I already talked about them in the freedoms. We may not need to go back. When it comes to agriculture and food security, there's also a common market issue. We need to make sure to produce food for our people, ensure there is food security, and also the food that is being produced must meet the nutritional requirements of our people. And a number of initiatives have happened, including the transboundary crop and animal pest control. A number of instruments have also been developed. We shall have them shared. When it comes to industry, small-scale enterprises, it's an area that is also being championed in the community, and more emphasis is being put on development of value chains, cotton, textile, apparel, leather, automotive sector, and pharmaceuticals and vaccines, including fruits and vegetables. So those are industries that are being promoted, and also to promote good manufacturing practices in our region. Small-scale enterprises are very important because they create jobs and also increase on foreign exchange earnings of our economies. Energy. Energy is important. We are about to finish, ladies and gentlemen, but these are very critical. We are saying we need energy in our community so that we can support production, support our economies. So a number of projects are being implemented. In terms of power generation, I can, for example, quote one which is involving DRC and other neighboring partner states. We have let me go to this one. We have power being generated in Chikagati Murongo with 24 megawatts. There is an arrangement between Tanzania, Uganda. We have Burundi, Rwanda, Tanzania of 80 megawatts. We have, I think for DRC we shall find it when we are doing the transmission lines, but all of these are generation of electricity potentials in our region.